The day my wife walked out, I thought losing my marriage was the worst pain I would ever face. I was wrong. Months later, my own son looked me in the eyes and said, "You are not my dad anymore." The woman I trusted and the brother I grew up protecting had already destroyed my family. But they had no idea that the truth they buried for years was about to come back and change every single one of our lives forever. Stay until the end because one unexpected confession turns everything upside down. My name is Daniel. I believed family was the one thing money could never buy and betrayal could never break. I spent 23 years building a life with my wife Emily. We had one son named Ethan. Every overtime shift I worked was for them. Every sacrifice I made was for our future. My younger brother Ryan had always struggled. He changed jobs every few months and often borrowed money. I never asked for it back because he was family. Emily always defended him. She said he only needed support. I agreed because I trusted both of them completely. Looking back now, every warning sign was right in front of me. They laughed together longer than normal. They exchanged messages late at night. They disappeared during family gatherings. Whenever I questioned it, Emily called me insecure and Ryan joked that I watched too many movies. I ignored my instincts because I wanted peace more than conflict. Then one evening, Emily sat across from me with divorce papers already signed. She calmly said she was unhappy and deserved a better life. She claimed we had grown apart. She wanted everything settled quickly. I felt shocked but still hoped counseling could save us. She refused. Only 3 weeks after the divorce was finalized, she appeared online holding Ryan's hand. Every lie suddenly made sense. Friends stopped calling because they did not know whose side to choose. My parents begged everyone to forgive each other because they wanted the family together again. They acted as if betrayal was just a mistake that time could erase. The hardest part was not losing my wife. It was watching my son slowly drift away from me. Emily convinced Ethan that I cared more about work than family. Ryan played the role of the fun father while I became the strict man who was always busy. Every phone call became shorter. Every visit became colder. One afternoon, Ethan looked at Ryan and called him dad by accident. Nobody corrected him. Instead, everyone laughed. That laugh stayed in my mind for months. Soon, Ethan stopped answering my messages. Birthdays passed without a call. Father's Day became another painful reminder that I had lost more than a marriage. I focused on rebuilding my life. I started my own construction company using the savings I had protected before the divorce. Business grew slowly but honestly. I hired hard-working people who needed a second chance. 5 years later, my company became one of the largest contractors in the city. Meanwhile, Ryan's life looked perfect online. Luxury vacations, expensive cars, designer clothes, but appearances can hide dangerous secrets. One afternoon, I received an unexpected call from my old family lawyer. He explained that my late grandfather had left behind another property that nobody knew about. Hidden inside were personal journals and financial records meant only for the oldest grandson. That was me. As I read through the journals, I discovered something unbelievable. Grandfather had documented every loan he secretly gave Ryan over 20 years. Ryan had never repaid a single dollar. Instead, he repeatedly lied and manipulated relatives for money. There was another sealed envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. Grandfather warned me that Ryan had always envied my life and feared he would eventually try to steal everything I loved. The words felt impossible. Yet every sentence described exactly what had happened. I locked the documents away and continued living quietly. Months later, another surprise arrived. Ryan contacted me after years of silence. He sounded desperate. He wanted to meet. Curiosity won. We met at a small coffee shop. Ryan looked older than his age. The expensive clothes had disappeared. He admitted his business had collapsed. Debt collectors were after him. Emily had left him for another man after discovering he had cheated on her multiple times. For a moment, I almost felt sorry. Then he asked me for money. He said brothers should help each other. I remembered every birthday he ruined, every family dinner he destroyed, every tear my son never saw. I quietly stood up and walked away. Weeks later, Ethan appeared outside my office. He was 21 years old now. I barely recognized him. He looked nervous. He said Ryan had abandoned everyone. Emily was struggling financially. He wanted help paying their debts. I listened without interrupting. Then he asked the question that broke my heart. "Can you help us, Dad?" It was the first time in years he had called me Dad, but something inside me had changed. I asked him why. He lowered his head. He admitted Ryan had confessed while drunk that he had manipulated him since childhood. Ryan constantly told him lies about me. Emily knew many of those lies were false but stayed silent because she wanted to protect her new marriage. Ethan finally realized the father who never stopped loving him had been pushed away on purpose. He cried harder than I had ever seen. I told him money could replace many things. Trust was not one of them. For months Ethan visited every weekend. He never asked for another dollar. Instead, he wanted conversations. He wanted memories. He wanted the father he had ignored for years. Slowly, we rebuilt what had been stolen. One evening he handed me a box. Inside were every birthday card I had mailed him. None had ever reached him. Emily had hidden them. She never wanted him to know I kept trying. That discovery shattered the last illusion he had about his mother. He apologized again and again. I told him children believe the adults who raised them. His mistakes did not define his future. His choices from today forward would. Months later, Emily requested a meeting. She admitted she had made the biggest mistake of her life. She wanted forgiveness. She even hinted that maybe we could become a family again. I looked at her with complete peace. The man she divorced no longer existed. Pain had transformed him into someone stronger. I wished her well. Then I walked away forever. A year later, Ethan attended the opening of my company's new headquarters. Before hundreds of employees, he introduced me. He smiled proudly and said, "This is my father, the man who never gave up on me even when I gave up on him." The room filled with applause. No amount of revenge could ever match that moment. I finally understood something. Real victory is not watching those who hurt you lose everything. Real victory is refusing to become like them. The people who betrayed me lost trust. They lost respect. They lost each other. But I gained something much greater. Peace. Strong ending. Sometimes the deepest wounds come from the people you would have trusted with your life. Betrayal may steal your happiness for a season, but integrity can rebuild a future stronger than the past. Never chase people who willingly walk away. Build a life so meaningful that the truth eventually speaks louder than every lie. In the end, character always outlives deception, and love given without conditions is never wasted. If this story touched your heart, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Share this story with your friends and family.